and went straight outside the house and went straight to his neighbors and banged on the door late in the night. The neighbor was worried, wondering what was going on, but he came out. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of You Be the Judge. On today's event, we're gonna be learning about a true story of a young man who lived most of his life in the grave. Yeah, you heard me right, in the grave. In life they say the spiritual controls the physical, and some people say there is more to it that meets the eye. But at the end of the day, it will be left up to you to decide what to make out of this story, because you are going to be the judge. Now, the young man's name is Humphrey Ahahua. Humphrey lives in Edo State. He's from Edo State, and he is a medical professional. And Edo State is actually located in Nigeria. Nigeria is in the west part of Africa. So Humphrey decided to improve his educational qualification by being a master in medical physiology. So he decided to travel all the way to a foreign land to get the degree, to get this master's. And then when he got there, he did very well. And then when he got to the end of his program, he was actually supposed to defend a project. He prepared his project and sent it to the professor who is in charge of his own part of the work. And then the professor looked at it and it was perfectly okay. And she gave him a thumbs up to go on and present this to the panel of professors. On the D-Day, he was excited, and then he decided to move in. And then when he got there, something strange happened. He opened up his work and he realized that the work he has previously planned out, which was actually seen by the other professor, was kind of distorted. It looked like it wasn't his work, but it was his work. He couldn't make any presentation. The panel was very, very embarrassed, but he had a saving grace. And his saving grace was the professor who already knows about him, who also knows that he's a very serious student, and also have also seen his work before the presentation. So they now decided not to fail him, but to give him a temporal pass. In that case, he would have to go visit the professors one after the other to mark his work. And that was his saving grace. But at that point, he realized that there is something happening somewhere affecting him. That was when he started taking records of his life occurrences. Humphrey was blessed enough to finish his education. Excited, he went back to Africa in Nigeria and spent some months and then decided to tie the knots. He has a girlfriend that he loves and then decided to marry this girl. And he brought the girl to his dad just to get an approval. Well, it's like an African tradition in some part of Africa where if you want to get married, you get an approval from the family. Not all cultures. So the dad gave him a thumbs up and he was excited. And then one night actually, something strange happened. While he was sleeping, his mom walked into his room angrily, woke him up at night and summoned him to her room. So he obliged, he went with his mom, and behold, when he got to the room, his dad, of course the mom, and his sibling was in the room waiting for him. And he was surprised. He was like, what's going on? And then his mom made it very, very clear that she does not approve of the girl that he wants to marry. Humphrey was confused. He was like, why? What's the problem? She said the girl was stubborn. And Humphrey was like, because he already knows the girl. I'm the one getting married to this girl. So I'm okay with her. She's not even stubborn. And the mom was very angry, furious, and he had a heated argument with his mom to the extent that his mom bit his fingers. Yes, his mom bit his tiny fingers and he was bleeding. And he was surprised, like, why would my mom be so hell-bent on me not marrying someone that I love? And he turned, when all these things was happening, his dad was just seated quietly, not saying anything. But he turned to his dad and asked his dad, do you support mom saying this? The dad said no. And then he said, in that case, I'm going ahead to marry this girl. Humphrey did that which he wanted to do, which is marrying the girl. But the process of getting married to this girl didn't come without a cost. Because when he got prepared and went to the family and get every traditional rites to get married to this girl, of course the parents of the groom, the bride, knew that the groom was coming with his parents and with friends as well. But when they got there, it seemed as if the parents of the bride weren't interested in the marriage no more. But it was difficult for Humphrey to just walk away without getting married to someone he wants. And then at the end of the day, after back and forth, which seemed very weird, Humphrey knew that there's something trying to stop him from getting married to this girl. And then he went somewhere to pray. And then after praying, he turned around and everything went well. And then he finally got married to this girl. And while they were going home, Humphrey was driving in a different ride, and the mom and siblings and dad were driving on a different ride. And then on the way going home, Humphrey got a call from one of his siblings and told him that something weird is happening in the car. What's going on? He asked, and they told him specifically that the mom started acting weird on their way home. The mom started sweating. In fact, she passed out. They didn't really know what's going on because the woman never had any medical situation, like nothing going on. But at the end of the day, after shaking her and stuff like that, she woke up. It was weird and she got back to normal. But this might make sense to you at the end of the story. So just stay tight. After the wedding, months went by and at some point the dad took ill. The dad was sick. They took him to the hospital, and after a couple of weeks, he didn't make it. He died, which was so sad. And then the next thing was to send him to the morgue and prepare for the burial. But for some reasons, the mom doesn't want the burial to go on immediately. But Humphrey has a different plan. Like, being a medical person, he doesn't want the dad to be in the morgue for so long. Considering sometimes the morgue, sometimes they don't have like a good facility, and then the corpse might start deteriorating and stuff like that. He didn't want that. He wants everything done so that the dad would rest in peace. But the mom wasn't taking that. It was like he keeps having issues with his mom all the time on important issues that shouldn't be a problem. He couldn't know, he didn't know what to make out of it. But being a son to this man, he has a say, so he went ahead to plan for this dad's burial. During the period when they were preparing for this burial, he came close by home, and one day he was sleeping in his bed and he woke up with this throbbing headache. He said it felt like his head is swollen up, like it's about to blast, like explode. And then he woke up and told his wife, and the wife went and called a nurse that lives close by. The nurse came in and brought in a blood pressure apparatus just to check his blood pressure. And when they checked his blood pressure was really, really high, like critically high. And of course, the next option would be to take him to the emergency. But this young man, although he's a medical professional who's supposed to know better, decided not to go to the hospital. And that was weird. He said he knows that this is not a physical thing and that he thinks this is spiritual. Remember, this guy has a master's in medical physiology, so he should understand the pathophysiologies of some disease conditions. But he decided to go to the church where he can find a pastor to pray for him to get an anointing of the sick, something like that. And they obliged and took him to the church. And this pastor prayed for him. And then after praying for him, he actually got better. He felt okay. And then the next morning, he was coming back home, back to his house. And he met this madman, a lunatic. And he doesn't know this man doesn't know him. And suddenly the man started calling him strong man. Like he called him strong man. And he was wondering, why would you be calling me strong? I don't even know you. Like he walked his way. But Humphrey said he has this still voice that usually whispers to his ears. At this point, I'm going to be calling this still voice his guardian angel. So this guardian angel whispered to his ears and told him that this is significant. But hold on. When he got home, he realized that there is this man that lives, one of his kindreds that died through the night. And then the still voice, the guardian angel, told him specifically that man had plans for him. But it didn't work out. That was why he didn't die through the night from the throbbing headache and the high blood pressure. And then whichever arrow the man sent to him, when he was praying, the arrow turned back and went back to that man. That was why the man died through the night. And that is why the madman was calling him a strong man. The burial went well, and then after that, he decided to keep in touch with the pastor that prayed for him when he was having that throbbing headache. And the pastor picked up the phone and gave him a stern warning, like he heard what he never expected. The pastor warned him never to call him again. And he was like curious, like, why don't you want me to call you again? And the pastor reluctantly told him, hey, after praying for you the other night, I had a spiritual attack. Like, I was attacked by some witches who were very angry. I prayed for you. So please don't ever call me again. Well, that was an eye-opener for Humphrey, and now he knows that there is something that he does not see, but it's happening physically. Okay, now, if you enjoy content like this, please do well to hit the notification bell, subscribe, and like our channel, because we are going to be uploading content like this once every week on Friday. Thank you. So one day at night, while Humphrey was sleeping, he realized that his bed was sucking him inside. Like he felt like he was getting into a deep hole, a grave, a valley, whatever is deep, whatever you can call. He was falling inside the bed. And then the next thing, he had like a sharp arrow that he couldn't see, but he felt it like an arrow pierced through his heart. And he woke up suddenly, and physically he was feeling the pain of a sharp arrow in his heart. And then he woke up, screamed. The wife was beside him, and the wife woke up and he was shouting like, my heart, my heart. And his wife woke up and he ran out of the house and went straight outside the house and went straight to his neighbors and banged on the door late in the night. The neighbor was worried, wondering what was going on, but he came out, courageously came out, and behold, it was Humphrey, and Humphrey was still screaming, my heart, my heart. And of course, the neighbor thought it would be wise to take him to the hospital. Maybe he was having like a heart attack or, whatever concerning the heart. And Humphrey made it clear that he doesn't want to go to the hospital. He wants to go to a church. But now he can go to the other pastor that already told him not to go, not to call him again. But they went to a different church at this time. So when they drove him to the church, when they were getting even close to the church, he started feeling the pain subsiding. And then when he got there, they prayed, and then he felt better. And then the next day, he went back home to his house, and immediately he got home, he realized that the ground just by the door was like opening up and like about to like swallow him up, like he was falling into the ground, and he stepped backwards, and then he managed to get inside the house. But whenever he sleeps, he realizes that the bed is sucking him inside, and then he decided not to sleep on the bed no more, to sleep on the ground. So while this was going on, Humphrey started having like some symptoms. He was feeling sick, and he was having like still having this heavy head, and he went to work one day, and he opened up the door to get into his workplace, and the ground opened again, like he felt like it was falling in, and he managed to get into the workplace, and his manager, his boss, who is also a consultant in the medical field, told him that he needs to run a test. So he obliged, and they ran a test, and they realized that his kidney functions were really bad. And the consultant was like worried about him, like, what's going on? Like, it was really, really bad. But Humphrey on his own path is still not like falling for the medical stuff, because he still knows, like he feels that this is not just what it seems to be. And he went back to the church, same place he went before, and asked for prayers, and then he prayed, and then came back the next day to run a second test, which was weird because you've not really taken a treatment. He ran a second test, and every kidney function test, every result in the labs came back normal. And everybody was surprised, because you would expect this situation to get back normal over time while you take the therapy, but he didn't take none, but everything came back to normal. Well, that was weird. Now the young man at this point realizes there is something going on spiritually that he can really explain. So he decided to spend more time with God, like praying all the time. So he tries to pray in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. He wakes up and prays. And one day he was walking by, and then he met his mom, and his mom told him to his face, "I will take your life." Like, he was like, "Mom, why would you say that?" Like, his mom repeated it. And this was weird. Hearing this from your mom, it sounds weird, but this wasn't like a dream. Like, the mom told him like physically. And that was like very disturbing to him. He discussed with his wife. His wife said, "Let's just keep praying." And while he prays at night, in the night, the mom, like when he wakes up in the night at 3 a.m. to pray for his protection, he says his mom calls him at the same time and told him that he's disturbing her. Like, who says that? Like, he kept on praying. But then the medical issues that he was having was coming on and off. And then he decided to go back to the church. Because each time he goes back, he says whenever he goes to the church, he feels better. But whenever he comes back home, it gets worse. So he decided to move to the church, which doesn't really seem feasible, but he's like trying to save his life. He doesn't go to work. He has a wife and a child. He left all that and went to the church. This guy lived in the church for over a month. And as long as he is there, he feels fine. But immediately he leaves, he gets those problems again. So while he was in the church, praying over months, he was getting calls from his family, and they were asking him to please come home. Not his immediate family, but his extended family. They were calling him and telling him to come back home, that they are dying, like they were having like issues. He's like, "I'm not coming home. I'm trying to save my life. You guys can die for all I care." He stayed back. But then he asked himself a very important question. Like, how long am I gonna live in the church? I have a business. I'm supposed to go to work. I have a wife. I have a child. I need to take care of those people. How long am I gonna be here? And that was when he decided to take his destiny in his own hand. At this point, he decided to change the way he prays, like his prayer intention. And he, right there in the church, while he was sitting there, he bowed down his head and asked God to give him the eyes to see, to give him the legs to walk, and to give him the ears to hear. And he said while he was praying, he fell asleep. And then he saw guardian angel walked in and touched him on his legs and say, "There you are, I give you the legs to walk." And touched his eyes, say, "I'm giving you the eyes to see." And touched his ears and said, "I'm giving you the ears to hear." He woke up. He went back home. And when he got home, while he was sleeping, now he doesn't remember, he doesn't sleep in his bed no more. No more. And then he was sleeping on the chair. While he was sleeping, he woke up, not like physical waking up. He woke up while he was sleeping, but he was still in a dream. And when he woke up, he saw this guardian angel. He called him and told him to follow him. He followed his guardian angel. And the guardian angel took him to his house, like where he was living before he moved into this one. And when he got into the house, he gave him the angel gave him a key. And then he walked around in search for his bed. But he didn't see his bed in his room. Everywhere for his bed, he couldn't find it. And then he said, "Where is my bed?" He said, "Come, I will show you where your bed is." And the guardian angel took him to a different destination. And then when he got there, he said it looks like an ancient place. And he called it a cove. But when he got there, he saw a lot of women right there. And he knew almost all of them. He said he saw his mom, saw some of his relatives, and he also saw someone who broke his heart. He saw his younger sister, the little one. "And can you see me?" And they all turned and said, "Yes, we can see you." And then he asked them, "Where is my bed?" They didn't say anything. And then he turned to his sister and asked his sister, "Where is my bed?" And the other ones commanded his sister not to say anything. And then he forcefully commanded his sister to say something about his bed. And the sister fearfully told him, "Let me go get your bed." And the sister walked away. And while she was coming back, she was pulling something very long. And the young man looked. It was a casket. And he asked the sister, "Is this my bed?" The sister said, "Yes." "This is a casket." He said, "Yes, it is your bed." And then the angel that brought him there told him to take it easy, to look into the casket. And then he looked into the casket and he saw his bed in the casket. That was when it struck him that his bed was actually turned into a casket, and that was why he was being sucked into a bed while he sleeps at night. That was strange. And then immediately he started praying, and the stuff caught fire, and then he woke up. Because his wife was by his side, and he told his wife, narrated everything that happened to his wife, and his wife made it very clear to him that he has been delivered of this evil attack. He also said he had a confirmation from his guardian angel that told him that he is free now. And then after that, he never had any issues again. No high blood pressure, no throbbing headaches, no heaviness or stuff like that. Everything came back to normal. and he came back to his normal self. Now, things like this make you wonder why, like what's really going on. But at the end of the day, it's not me, but you. You be the judge. You are always the judge.